Snapchat. Morning. Merry Christmas. Hey, Stray Wolf. And to you, buddy. Tis the day for it. It's a balmy 25 degrees Celsius today. We had a massive heat wave roll through over the weekend. It hit like 47 here at the shop. But today and tomorrow are in the mid-20s, which is really nice. And so I'm taking advantage of it while I can. For everyone else in the world, it's Christmas. For me, it's Wednesday. Over in the States, it's everyone having the Christmas Eve festivities. Didn't really account for that, did I? Christmas morning for us here, Christmas Eve for you guys over there. Forge takes a little while to get up to heat, so we might need to be here for a minute. You hear me okay? I'll drag you over my chair. You can look down on me for a little while. There you go. So the first pair I've got in the forge are a pair of 4-pound English cutlass hammers. How you going, G? Wraith, how you going, mate? But yeah, so I've got a pair of 4-pound billets in the forge at the moment. I'm going to be forging a couple of 4-pound English cutlass hammers. They'll probably end up being more like 3.7 pounds once they're ground and all that, but start them big. I've got 6 billets to get through today, and if I have time, I want to get a couple of axes forged as well in the afternoon. But we'll see how that goes. Sorry, the background's kind of washed out, but it's the nature of the beast. So all I'm doing right now is heating up the front end of the billet, and I'm going to upset it using the press. because they're currently 5 inches long, and I want to make them about 4 inches long. And I want to give a little bit more of a swell to that front. Hey, Dead Rats. 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, there you go. Yeah, because we're GMT plus 8, so that makes sense. Nothing like a nice hot Yorkshire tea in the morning. Merry Christmas Eve, Greg. Like I was saying earlier, for everyone else in the world, this will be Christmas. For me, it's Wednesday. The work never ends. Hopefully my neighbors are okay with it, but you know, if they're not, it doesn't really matter. The work must be done. I'm glad you're enjoying them, man. I've been enjoying doing them. It's a little bit more work for like research and all that kind of stuff, and obviously doing it solo means that I spend a lot more time, you know, working out what I'm going to say, because you got to fill 45 minutes to an hour on your own. It's you know, no small task, but I'm used to talking to myself, so it makes it a bit easier. But yeah, no, I've been enjoying them, and I've been really enjoying the feedback as well. Very happy to see people are enjoying them. Always open to new suggestions for topics. But yeah, this week we won't be getting a normal update. We won't be getting a normal upload. I got to post that to the Forgecast actually. But yeah, so this week, instead of getting your usual Friday upload, you'll be getting the upload on the 31st. So you'll be getting a New Year's Eve upload for the wrap up for Australia, for you know, for the Forgecast for the year for 2024. And the reason for that is obviously because normally we record on Wednesday or Thursday, and unfortunately it's Christmas, so Zach has other things to do, and I am away tomorrow, so we decided, screw it, we're going to record on Friday, and we'll upload it on the 31st, so it'll be a true year roundup for the Forgecast. But I figured that was, you know, poignant enough. It'll give me some time to do some more research on the next couple episodes. Oh, good, Greg. No pressure there. They're not going anywhere. Forgecast is here to stay. I'll keep this thing running if I have to do it my damn self. Which I basically do at this point. Alright, billets are starting to get there. Might nudge them into the forge a little bit more. want the first, like, I want the top half to be hot. Because I want the upset to be relatively even. How you going, Jazz? Excuse me for a second, gents. I forgot to charge my my Rode mic, the lapel mic, so you guys are gonna have to deal with raw audio, unfortunately. All good, G. Thanks very much for checking in, mate. I understand that it's not the time of year for everyone to be on their phones. I figured I'd just, you know, not spend the morning of Christmas alone. We're making hammers, Jazz. Making hammers. This first set are a pair of English Cutler's hammers. When they're finished, they'll probably be about 3.7 pounds. Maybe 3.5 if I cut them back a little bit. A decent working weight. Hey, Stephen, how you going? Dragonstone, how you doing, Crawford? Merry Christmas to both of you. It's going. It's going. What's the easiest mistake to make when forging hammers? Good question. I would say the easiest mistake to make, and it's one that I make on a regular basis, is getting the eye drifted at an angle. Either at an angle to the face, or the at an angle in the eye itself. Like, so if the hammer sides are like this, the eye goes through them like that. There are a number of ways to correct it. I actually want to do a couple of videos for YouTube over here on hammer forging, if anyone's interested in that. So that's one of my plans for 2025, is to do a little bit more content surrounding like hammer making, axe making, that kind of thing. Doing basically like a how to forge in the same I'm glad it sounds good. Doing it in the same way I do the How to Forge series for blades. I want to do more of those as well. But yeah, I want to do a bunch of hammer making videos, you know, all the different designs that I normally work on. So, you know, like your French cross peen, your Viking cross, your straight peen, your diagonal peen, your English cutler, your Japanese style dog head, that kind of thing. So no, I don't measure my eyes. I do it by eye. Unless I've got a very specific design in mind, I normally just kind of eyeball it. I've made enough of them at this point that I kind of know what I'm doing. And I don't mark my eyes either. I just punch them straight with the press. You'll see me do that in a second. Well, not in a second, but in a bit. Yeah, so one of the biggest issues that I see a lot of people struggling with hammers is either the punching itself or the drifting. And the drifting can be a place where a lot of things go wrong. And that's something that I want to talk about a little bit more. But yeah, so first things first, we're going to upset these billets. So I'm going to push you over here. Remind me to keep an eye on the battery levels. And that's the... All right. First billets up the heat. Let's keep the press on. do it. So you can see I've got narrow to thick. It has widened out a little bit, but I'm going to draw that back anyway. So that's basically what we're aiming for. Shortened it up to about 4 inches. We've lost about an inch in length, and we've gained a bit in width. Now I'm going to switch out to the drawing dies. I'm going to draw down a taper, an octagonal taper, and that's the start of the shape of the English collar. Don't touch your dies once you use them. Unless you want to burn yourself. Rightio. Who have we got? Alexis. Paul. How you going, mate? Merry Christmas to everyone. Yeah, dealing with dicky eyes can be a little bit of a problem. And that's why I want to do some videos on hammer making for the channel. So we'll see what happens in the new year. Obviously, January is going to be full up with preparing for Perth Knife Show, because I got a lot of work to do. Merry Christmas to you too, mate. Yeah, that's fair, Alex. So I don't blame you there. I like hammer making. I should like hammer making. I do it for, basically do it for a living these days. So yeah, I got these 2 big billets to start with the big ones, and then I'll go. Got a pair of 2-pound billets. A pair of 2.5-pound billets. So my 2-pounders and my 2.5-pounders. And you can see the slight difference in length. I think these are actually 2.2s from memory. I used all my 2.5s. I always do my hammers in lots of 2. Partially because 2 hammers is all I can fit in my forge, and also because if I do 2 of the same hammer at the same time, then what we're doing is, doubling up on the tooling used, so I don't have to worry about like switching out tooling every time for the different shapes of hammer that I do. Oh, that's cool, Paul. I mean, your hammers have been looking great, man. In the forging process, I don't lose a lot. You probably lose maybe an ounce or two, depending. The majority of the material I lose is in grinding. I still drift by hand, which I've had some people complain to me about, but you know, to each their own. I like drifting by hand. But punching, I'll punch it by machine because I can do it in one heat. But what we're going to do now is we're going to draw out an octagonal taper for the body, and this is all with drawing dies. So then I'll have to slightly. I've made 1.75 pound hammers, Greg. Absolutely. This rounder I made is a 1.75 rounder. This French crossbeam, La Forge de la Vie, my Froggy French cross, is 1.6 pounds. I don't tend to use them very often because they're not very good for like the majority of forging tasks, but they do have their place in the shop. Right, so we're just going to continue to establish that taper we already started. And so what I'm just trying to do is make a straight line of taper. Doesn't always go well, but do the best. Let's get it straightened out. You can definitely overdo it on your tapers at this stage. Trying to straighten it out a bit. There's a bit more stress. Right. Well, yeah, that's true, Alex. It's absolutely. So, funnily enough, the process for making English cutlass hammers and Japanese dog's heads is almost identical, up until you come to punching the eye. But yeah, so most of my daily hammers are 2.5 pounders. So I have this B&B Forge 2.2 diagonal peen that I use quite a bit. One of my other daily drivers is a 4 pounder, but that's from Seth Wood. the man himself. There's a 4-pound French locksmith's hammer. Got my 3-pound rounder that originally came to me from the US as a texturing hammer, but I turned it into a rounding hammer. And my most recent addition is this English cutler that I got given from the guys over at the Blacksmith Association of WA. And this is actually one that was made in Philadelphia. It's actually still got the maker's mark on it. I need to figure out the company. It's a something and Sons, Henry something and Sons from Philadelphia. But yeah, this one's a 3-pound English cutler. And then my other daily driver English cutler, I don't know where it is. I mean, we do Wraith. We tend to go ham, you know, quite literally. But not for me. Not really celebrating Christmas this year. I'm working. For everyone else, it's Christmas. For me, it's Wednesday. All right, so we've established our tapers. So we've got basically a square taper on the billet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to octagonalize it. So we're going to take those corners off and make it an octagonal billet. And then I'm going to have to dress it all up with a hammer because I don't have a power hammer with a flatter, and the press doesn't do well with angles. It is a bob hammer. Still one of my favorites. Alrighty. Whoop. Hey, Duck Rabbit, how you going? Speaking of Bob, that's his sticker right there. Then there's Adam from Speargrass. Got a few stickers up there. Dog Boy, Island Metal Forge. You got Granddads up there. Over this side. I actually can't remember whose that is. I think that's Randy's. Old Wolf, those two are from Creative Man, Nordic Edge, and Drayson's Forge. And then, of course, in the front, Brothers in Iron, the original Forge Cast motto. I don't blame you, Duck Rabbit. Zoom properly. Okay. Yeah, brick hammer is great. Like, that kind of stuff is, you know, really simple. You can make texture with a lot of different kind of hammers. All right. Let's make some trying to keep it straight in the dies. Turn to an actual 45-degree angle. Otherwise, it turns out cutting off it. There we go, we should have 8 equal sides, or close enough. I'll flip it around and do this bit next.
Much like with blade making, your freeform is important for hammer making as well. A lot of people just punch a hole in steel and then try and shape it afterwards. But if you're not preparing the form for what you actually want to create, you're making more work for yourself. Hydrate or dihydrate? Oh, screw that, duck rabbit. I mean, I did 10 in one day, like a week ago, and I'll be doing 6 today. I don't have enough billets for 40, but if I did, I would. So why wouldn't I use flat dies? Because it's tapered. Because it's thick one end and thin the other. If I use flat dies on this press, all I get is like these kind of L-shaped cut marks in the surface of the material. The rounding dies don't have that. They just, you know, do their thing, and then I could true up the flats or the platens with a hammer. Either way, I'd have to be truing it up with a hammer. I find that the hard edge of a flat die would be harder to dress out with a hammer than the round indents of a drawing die. Check the battery. It would, Duck Rabbit. It would. I mean, my hammer driver normally is my 6-pound straight peen, which is actually an old block splitter with a soft face. I also have my 7-pound Mjolnir short-handled sledgehammer. Back to it. That's basically ready for throwing up my hand. might just position you somewhere where you can see what I'm going to be doing on the handle. That's fair, Duck Rabbit. I mean, until I had Preston, I did everything by hand. If I was making a lot of hammers, I'd get one of my friends to come over and strike for me. Because funnily enough, having a striker makes things a lot easier. Bouncy plywood floors. Don't mind me just pouring silica sand on my ground because my oil tank spilled. Ugh. Radio ho ho. Now comes the bit where I get an arm workout. Hit me tongs. Starting to work those facets in. Look out. This is where I wish I had a power hammer. Yeah, come on over, Duck Rabbit. Hey, Ben. Hello. Merry Christmas, Matthew. what, definitely a workout. Side. That's not good. Whew. That's pretty bloody close. Good. Punching time. Titanium can be fun. You're gonna move in with me, were you, Ben? Yeah, I'd forged a bit of titanium. It really depends on the grade of titanium. Like I've forged 6AL4V, which is not terrible. There's some really nice alloys of titanium to forge. Pure titanium can be a bit of a pain. But yeah, for my money, 6AL4V has been one of my favorites. It forges like butter. And you can forge it for a while. Once it gets below like the, you know, kind of dull red, it gets really hard. But in the higher heats, it just moves so easily. Alrighty, time to punch a hole in these things. Learn from my mistake. Got this bit of 6mm 1084. So that's to hopefully stop undercutting. That's an eye punch. That one. So she went a little bit wonky, came out this side a little bit more than I wanted, but I'll be able to fix that in the drifting. And as you can see, the thing is bent, and that's because the shelf of my punch die is very short. And so what happens is that the hammer ends up getting squished over these corners, and it mars the underside of the hammer. That's why I had this. I'm gonna end up eventually mounting a permanent plate across there, but I just haven't got to it. So we make do. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. I mean, yeah, Preston does make that bit easy. Now for the fun bit though. I'm gonna do this wide angle because I work both on the swage block and on the anvil, so. Might actually flip the camera a couple times. There we go. Wide angle lens. Woo! Get to see me in all my glory. So yeah, these days I used to do a lot of my work down here on the swage block, like I'd drift and then I'd forge on this flat point. But I found bending over that much was a real pain in the butt. So what I do is I drift and then I bring it up onto the anvil face and I do the rest from there. I really need to make myself a new drift because when I forged this one, I thought that it was 4140, but it turned out to be mild steel. So she bends pretty easy and she dents up a little bit, but we make it work. Now, if I've done my punching job properly, I should just be able to knock the slug out. There we go. 1, 2. Now this one is punch square, so I'm just going to work it evenly for both sides. Only ever working the side next to the drift. So, bring this close, close-ish. So you can see, when I worked it with the hammer, I only worked this side, which is where the drift was in. And it's nice and even. And then I was just dressing out the pouch out from the upsetting. Now we flip it over. Back in the forge. Okay. Now this one's an interesting case study because it's a little bit skew whiff. This is where a straight pin comes in handy. So what I'm doing, if you can see, is I've made a bunch of straight pin marks in the center of the side of the eye that was pooched out, while this side was sitting on the anvil. It didn't move very much. And because the straight pin pushes things in this kind of orientation, it's actually stretching this while keeping this the same. And so now you can probably see the eye's a lot more centered. The one thing I'll have to do is when I flip this, I have to work that same side with the straight pin, because if I just leave it this way, the eye is going to be in an angle inside the hammer. And that's why I leave the marks in it. So that way, I know which side to work. Get in there. Some greenery, yes. That's the very large Monstera Deliciosa that I have. Lots of greenery around this place. My good friend Andy comes out and does a bunch of gardening for me. Wraith, no, I don't really have to use lube with my punch because the W360 and the way that I've tapered my punch, I'll show you. So this is my punch setup. I'm just gonna switch around. So this is my punch setup. Because of the way that this is quite sharply tapered in both directions, it doesn't stick in the eye. The only thing I'll use lubricant, quote unquote, is I'll use a cooling wax to keep the punch from sticking in things, and that's mostly when I'm doing lots of hammers. You know, if I'm doing like 6 hammers in a row, punching a whole bunch of eyes, then I'll use a cooling wax. But given that I don't have any cooling wax right now, it's just gonna have to make do without. So yeah, the upside to this design is that it doesn't stick in eyes. The downside is because it's such a wide cross section and it has quite a sharp taper, it tends to suck a lot more of the metal into the eye, so you do get a lot of punch suck, which kind of sucks, but that's life. No worries, Greg. You have fun, mate. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year if I don't see you before then. I'm going to keep sweating it up here in the workshop. I'm going to angle you guys this way so you can see a bit more of what I'm doing. Whoop, that's a little too far zoomed in, Sam. Now you should be able to see what's going on. Hopefully. Let's check our battery. 33%. Alright, well, we're going down. We'll make it. Can the charger make it that far? That's providing me a serious trip hazard. Technically, yes. That seems safe. Yeah, the only place I vertical live stream is, no worries, Wraith. Have a good one, mate. The only time I do vertical live streams is over on TikTok. Or sometimes on Instagram, back when I used to do live streams over there. I'm going to bring you more centrally, because that cable swaying in the breeze is going to be a little risky. Risky for the bisky. Alright. I don't knock this too much. You're all fine. Okay. First one first. This one's going pretty smoothly. The eye is pretty central. Everything's lining up. Looking pretty. I like this one. This one, on the other hand, is the ugly duckling of the two. Again, switching over to the straight beam. scratching out that paper I gave it. Go. And now the eye is centered on both sides and not angled either. And so now I can just drift it like normal. Hopefully. All right, Ben, you have a good one, mate. Oh yeah, all right. I might do one another time. Whose stupid idea was this? That one only needs one more drifting pass and she's done. So on my English cutlers, I no longer shape the nose by forging, because I actually found that I was losing just as much material forging it as I was grinding it. If not a little bit more actually, sometimes. So found the easy way to grind to do the noses on my English cutlers were to grind it. Like I said, the drift bends occasionally. I just have to straighten it up. Hay fever's murder. Okay. Last drifting pass on this one. And I always double back my drifting. So And when it's cold, or coolish, make some on. Bring the eye off the edge. Loop. There you go. First of two of my English cutlass hammers. That sits on the way over there. Trying to be straight up and down. And then one more drifting pass on this one should be done as well. And then while that one's heating up for its last drifting pass, I can throw in one of the 2 pound billets, start preheating. The next run. Multitask. Yeah, Duck Rabbit. How you going, Dog Moon? Oh, that sucks. Alexis. Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't been streaming regularly for ages, as people will be able to tell you. I've been a little bit AWOL from the old socials. I've had a lot going on. It's been all I can do to keep the Forgecast running. I haven't done much of a good job of that lately. Alright, last pass on this one. So this eye is a little off center, but that's not going to hurt the functionality of the hammer. It's just going to affect the looks. So if you can see, this wall is slightly thinner than this wall, and it's even on both sides, so it's not going to hurt the overall function of the hammer. It's just the aesthetics, which is annoying, but that's life. Alright, 2 hammers down. So here's a chance for some audience participation. These are my last 2 2-pound billets. What should I make out of them? Your chance to tell me what to do. What's my favorite hammer to make? That's a rough one, man. Like, I like a lot of hammers.
I know what my least favorite to make is. Yeah, the Viking Cross, my style Viking Cross is probably up there. Reminds me, look at it. Just removing the die as well. Yeah. Well, I sit here. So I need to put some flat dies in. The Swedish, nah. I don't like Swedishes. Never been a fan. Like, you know, they're cool and all, but nah, not my style. No, I think my favorite would be a French cross. I've always been a French cross bean person, and I always will be. They don't sell as well, which is why I don't make many of them. And now with Seth Wood kind of chasing me out of that, you know, avenue. Yeah. Viking Cross, probably one of my favorites. Either that or the English Cutler, because I am one of the only people on the planet that makes them regularly. And when they come out good, they come out real good. Like this one came out really nice. Looking forward to getting a handle on this one. Should look nice. Pretty soon I'll be trading up my my ovate hammer eye drift for a rectangular for those. Oh, nice duck rabbit. Yeah, I've made a few like 6 to 10 pound sledges. I made a 10-pound sledge for Morgan at Dragon's Fire Forge. That was fun. Yeah, I made him a 10-pound doghead sledgehammer. That was good fun. Otherwise known as a Mukazuchi. I'd like to make myself another 5 to 6 pound hammer. This one's kind of wearing out. This one's seen better days. I could reforge her, but you know, we'll see. Cool, man. I look forward to seeing it, hopefully. Post it on Insta and I'll have a look. Make sure to tag me. I think I've still got a couple of like 6-pound billets sitting around. Oh yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I like making my Mjolnir style rounders. I don't make as many of them as I used to, but when I get around to them, I like them. Because they still got that kind of Viking-esque aesthetic. They're good fun. But yeah. No, I like making hammers, just hammers in general. Part of me wants to say I like making what sells. Curtis, that was 1045. I make all of my hammers out of 1045 these days. I do have some 4340 that I'll probably be using at some point, but yeah, 1045 is the go for me. cut my hand open on something and then sweat gets in it and it hurts like hell. I've made hammers out of 4140 and it was just too soft. Too soft for me. Like, I like a soft hammer, but not that soft. Fair enough, Duck Rabbit. Look forward to it. I'm using 40 mil square, so I don't know what that is in inch. Yeah, Stray Wolf. Seth Wood actually recently forged like an 8-pound ball peen hammer, which was crazy. But yeah, I'm using 40 mil square, which is, I think, like, inch and a quarter is 32. So it would be like inch and a half? No. Yeah. Full steam as well, yeah. Yeah, I quenched my 4140 in water. Also in 1045 in water as well. But 1045 just hardens better because you've got that extra, 0.05% of carbon, which makes a big difference in that cross section. Every 4140 hammer I've had have just been like, bringing a few hundred pounds of 1.25, 1045. Ooh, nice. Love that. Yeah, so 1.25 is inch and a quarter. That's 32, so it's 32 mil you're bringing. I'm currently using like inch and a half. Just over an inch and a half. So 1.5. Yeah, 4340 is great. So I've got some 4340 axle as well. Tiny ball peen, yeah. Tiny ball peens, funnily enough, really useful for jewelry work and stuff like that. So definitely worthwhile. The reason that the ball peens are off center is because majority of the time you're using the face. The only time you use the ball peen is when you're, actually like trying to peen something, and you're not swinging for the fences at that point. So you're better off having all of the weight over on the face side. Funnily enough, the reason that ball peens feel really good for blacksmithing is because they're basically a doghead hammer. Hi. Yeah, they're basically a doghead hammer. So ball peens are great. I love them. 4-ounce cross, nice. I'd love to make some tiny French crosses, like jeweler's crosses, but we'll see. Like cross peens, that is. Yeah, I've got, they're not axles, they're actually like roll pins from a big old truck. I'll show you in a second, but hold on, let me reposition you for the forging of the billets of 4140, or 1045. So what I'm going to be doing is making these. I'm going to be making these billets from 40 mil square into about 30 mil square because it's 2 pounds of steel and it's not 2 pounds is not enough to make a decent sized hammer in 40 mil square. It's too short. So instead, draw it down. And in this instance, I use flats, so Alexis won't yell at me. What are you getting stuck on? Short stuff is a little less.
Right, now what hammers am I making? What style of hammer am I making out of these? Jesus, Alex. That's crazy. Less ugly. Get the hell out of my stream. French crossbeam is unbeatable. That's fair. Like European engraving hammers, yes. Japanese engraving hammers, not so much. But the French crossbeam is one of the best crossbeams ever created, and one of my favorite hammers of all time. So, no French crossbeam anger. Ah, or the frog will get you. Vive la France. Just for that, I'm making these in the French crossbeam. There's a close things out. Yeah, European engraving chisels have a very distinctive kind of shape for hitting the back of the chisel. Japanese hammers don't. There's actually a very good reason for French cross paints, thank you very much. But I wouldn't expect a Philistine like you to understand. You can take your French crossbeam slander elsewhere. Oh, that sucks, Alex. I'm sorry. I mean, Duck Rabbit, that is like provably false, but okay. In matter of hammers, yes, sure, but yeah, when you're making commissions, as long as you're being honest about the fact that you're using unknown materials. But yeah, the idea that the difference between known and unknown materials, especially in knife making, is yeah, laughably false. Like, if you know what it is, then it's a little bit less of a problem. But the key difference between buying 52100 bar and using 52100 bearing race is that bar has been spheroidized annealed and is specifically ready for being used to make things. A bearing race has been heat treated and in most cases has been used in some form somewhere and has probably been under compressive and fucking tensile stress. Therefore, there is every chance that the grain structure is going to be slightly occluded, or you could have microfractures or a bunch of other shit. Yes, you can get away with it, and like I have and I do, but you can't tell me that like known steel that has been fresh from the factory, specifically designated for creating something, is going to be less good for the work that we're doing than using a bearing, like in using pre-used steel. The fact is that by having it be used and heat treated beforehand means that you're directly kind of going against everything that has happened to that material beforehand. Again, I'm not saying you can't use it. I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. I'm just saying that it's not comparable to bought spheroidized annealed material that you buy from a manufacturer. And yeah, the other thing is the stresses that it's been under during that like material's life, as whatever it was before you started with it. On the Forgecast, I have always been an advocate for using scrap materials, and I always will be. But I've never made the argument that it's better or equitable to no materials. I mean, you did just say that it's exactly the same. Like, I understand that you're backtracking it now, but you can't make a flat statement that says X is just as good as Y, but then go, only if you test it and do all this kind of stuff. The fact is that there's a reason in the industry why we don't reuse used materials like springs and stuff like that, and instead send them to a smelter to be re-refined into another steel again. And that's because of unreliability. And the biggest problem with using used materials is that you can test one piece of the material and have it come out perfect, but then the next piece of material right next to it could have all of those flaws that you didn't see in the first piece, because stresses are uneven, right? So I've had a coil spring where I made punches out of the entire coil spring, and only one of those pieces had a microfracture through it and snapped while I was using it. The rest of the coil spring was absolutely fine. That's the thing, is that because you get uneven stresses throughout the life of the material, I mean, okay, like I'm not going to have this argument with you. It's Christmas. I don't care, but no, I'd rather you didn't, Duck Rabbit, please. I'm not interested. I'm kind of over this conversation now, thank you. I've had enough of a shit week, a shit month. You're all good, Alexis. I don't care. It's all right. I'm letting you know. I've had enough today. I mean, it should be evidence enough that I'm working on Christmas Day. Little French cross. I won't be taking a day off. I can't. The reason I'm working today is because I need to find like $600 by the end of this month or things start going real bad. So you enjoy the rest of your Christmas. You're all good, Alexis. Hey, Billy Martin, how you going, man? Piece of advice for those watching. Don't have a run-in with the man with the scythe. It's not fun. It leaves you in a very awkward position. Especially when you run a business by yourself. We're almost there. After I finish these two, I might go for a break for a bit, I think. Need to get a drink. Might only be 25, but it's warm enough. No, I don't number my hammers straight off. I thought about getting into the habit, but then I keep forgetting to do it, so I've just not bothered. Oh, that's good to hear, Billy. Glad to hear it. Yeah, so it depends on the hammer that I'm making, Alexis, as to whether I do much work after I punch. So I tend to do a lot of preform before I punch, and then I drift 3/4 of the way, do my final forming, and then I do my final drift pass. In this instance, because the French crossbeam, the way that the eye is shaped around the peen, means that I have to do a little bit more finagling to get it to sit right. But it's a pretty simple matter of just drifting it back out once it's done. And I can normally get both drifting passes done. thing I'll do is take a heat with a lighter hammer and I'll just true up the peen, but then it's done. A little bit rhombus. That's all right. Again, one last heat to fix the peen. We're done. A lot more hand work in a French cross. Hey Daniel. Thanks, Trevor. Yeah, there's a lot more hand work in a French cross than most of my other hammers. But I kind of enjoy that. That being said, every one of the hammers that I make, it has quite a bit of handwork to it. Having the press makes things faster for certain things, but doesn't mean get away without smacking it with a hammer a few times. Until it's been warm. Some bloody wedges coming in. At least I got these new hammer rights on, so the hammer tools that I need. Makes things a little easier. Okay. So now I just need to do a final drift, mark it, and she's done. Drift this one again. Not a lot, just a little. Well, French cross, most French crosses at least, is that they are narrower, so narrower this way, than they are tall. That gives them their unique shape. Okay, final drift. Just gentle. Not looking to move anything now. Just screwing everything up. That's a French cross, and I'll grind in the rounded back end, and she'll be ready to rock and or roll. Alright, final drifting pass on this one, and call it a day for the stream. Go inside and drink like 16 minutes of water. Oh, whew. Yeah, it does, Daniel. So if you notice that an eye is rotating in the stock, there are a couple things you can do about it. Most of them involve having some form of open swage where you can hang the eye in the opening. And what you do, I'll show you in a minute once I finish this hammer. Oops. Oh. Marks on an angle now. Okay, so if I notice that the eye is drifting counterclockwise or clockwise, so say the eye is so like this is the hammer. I'm not sure you guys can see this. Let me zoom out a little bit. Zoom out. Okay, so we have our hammer here. Say that the eye, like the face is running parallel with the anvil, but the eye is pointing this way. Then what I need to do is shift the front of the eye that way. And the best way to do that is, so if the eye is pointing this way in the hammer, then what I do is I lay it on a hole, like a hardy hole, or the hole in my swage block, with the eye, with the way that the eye is pointing down, pointing up. And what I do is I lay half of the drift on the edge of the hole and hammer on the front side of that hole, right? So I hammer there on over the hole. And what that does is, instead of forging the eye, it pushes the front of the hammer around the pivot point, which is the side of the hole. The other thing you can do, if you have a lot of thickness left in your eye, is take a ball peen or a straight peen or a cross peen and forge. So if the eye is pointing this way, like it's pointing towards my right hand, then this side will be thicker. So what you do is you lay it flat on your anvil and you just forge with your straight peen just in front of that part of the drift, right? So you forge along that line, that side of the drift. You can see that line there, hopefully. Right, so I forge along there, and then when I come to do my next drifting passes, I just forge it with the flat over the other side, and that will push the eye into the divot that you made on the other side, right? Because the drift isn't moving, and if you're forging with a flat face, you're not going to be divoting this side. You're going to be trying to fill the hole that's on this side. So either a peen or a straight peen or a cross peen, cross here, front of the eye or the back of the eye, depending on which part's thickest. And you do that on both sides. So if this front of the eye is the thickest on this side, then I would forge with the peen along the front of the eye, and then I would go this side, this end here, closest to me again, would be the thick part, so I'd forge along there. And so then when I come to forge flat, bang, I'm ending up with the eye rotating itself inside that hole because there's pockets on either side that it needs to fill. Hopefully that makes sense. As for this one, she's got a little bit of eye swell, and I'll probably grind that out. But yeah, she's finished, ready for going. This hammer, pull up the other ones that I finished. Not bad for 2 hours work. I'll take it. Oh, peaceful silence for now. All right. So yeah. There we go, 2 English cutlers and 2 French crosses. Hey, BS Forge, how you going, mate? Merry Christmas. So yeah, the English cutlers will have their noses ground in. The French crosses will probably be finished ground because I like to have the rounded rear eye, which is very hard to do with forging. You can, but I don't have a leg vise anymore, so without a leg vise it's almost impossible. So you want to do it with a grinder, which I will. So yeah, these 2 are 4-pounders, these 2 are 2-pounders. And then I have 10 more hammers to handle. And I've got 2 more billets that I'll probably forge up this afternoon after I have lunch. And then I will probably make some axes as well if I have time, because I'm away tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me for this Christmas. Sorry for that bit in the middle there. I don't have a lot of patience at the moment. I'm going through a lot and I'm not handling my emotions very well, so yeah, I'm just just chipping along, trying at least. Hope you all have a fantastic Christmas and New Year's if I don't see you before then. Thanks very much for hanging out, and yeah, stay happy, forge hard. I'll catch you next time.